Hello and welcome to David Tom Creations channel, and welcome back to part 2 of the Komplete 13 instruments overview, demo, walkthrough, whatever you want to call it. I had got up to number 39 in the list of 46. So I'm starting back up at number 39, which is Polyplex. And if you haven't watched the other video, then you can. It'll be in the Native Instruments playlist, and that covers 1 to 38. And as you can see, the pianos, the Discovery series, Play series, the synths, the Scarby stuff, and various sundries like kinetic metal and kinetic trees. So Polyplex is one that I have never really heard of or seen anybody kind of using, but it's actually pretty cool. It's a really simple kind of 8 pad drum machine, but it doesn't have a sequencer as far as I am aware, and it's quite difficult to find much information on it. It's a kind of reactor instrument, so there are you get kind of different banks, but I found this one called Gorley Glide, which is pretty cool. So it just uses the white keys on the keyboard, or your pads if you've got pads, if you're using Machine or whatever. But like I said, I haven't tried these with my LX25, so I'm assuming I would be able to MIDI learn the pads to that. But I'm using my M32. So yeah, so this is a pretty cool sample, this actually. So yeah, so So that is your 8 samples. I do like that first one. That is a cool. I'm going to use that in something. So let's have a look at this one. So it's kind of a bit different from your kind of usual drum sampler. But like I said, I've not really got into what all this bit's doing, and this is obviously some sort of randomizing thing. But I'm not quite sure what it's randomizing. So yeah, because it's got that. Right, so that doesn't switch it off. Right, so yeah, I need to have a butcher's hook at this and see. Right, so that's randomizing the sample. I like it, it's good. Right, I need to have a butcher's hook at that. Right, we'll forget that. And battery is the main one that's used with Machine. So I don't have Machine. And I kind of looked at it and I thought it's a bit too much like Ableton, so I didn't bother. But it has a whole lot of kits, and as you can see, these are all the expansion packs that I have got. So they all work with Machine and battery. So for instance, if we go to Indigo Dust. Right, so that's better. So we're up to there. I had to shift the octaves on my keyboard. Right, so it just kind of goes, so it's the white and the black keys. Right. I'll need to watch some more videos. I did watch one, but I've forgotten what it, how to use it. You got pitch envelope, pitch volume, main, effects, modulation, setup, editor, and master. Right. So I think I seem to remember that you have to create a track for each instrument in Logic, which is why I thought, well, that's no point doing that. I'll just use Drum Machine Designer. But yeah, so I'll have to have a look at this one and see if I can suss it out. But anyway, it is supposedly pretty good, and there's an absolutely massive kit. Electric Love kit. The levels are a bit all over the place, aren't they? Right, anyway, that's battery, and to be honest, these are the best ones. Electric Sunburst, oh, it's so good. Oh, if you haven't, this is worth buying Komplete 13 for, just for this, to be perfectly honest. This and Session Strings and the pianos and the Play series are, I mean, this is just absolutely mental. So I mean, I've not had any kind of guitar VSTs before, so forgive me if I get a bit carried away with this. But it is so cool. I mean, I've tried to play guitar before. I've had about 3 guitars. I did have a Les Paul Sunburst copy, an Encore one, for a while, and I just couldn't get it into it. So for me, this is just brilliant. All right, so let's ramp this up a bit. So we're in rock ballad, and as you can see, there's various kind of preset. So if I using the blue keys, which hang on, I need to shift my octaves back up. So there's different symbols. So this little step means it's an arpeggiated sample, and this one means that it's strummed. And then there's actually another one for a riff, which is like a kind of musical note. So I'll find one of those. So you can kind of cycle through them here as well. So you can see they're all strummed. Let's have a bit of a more of a rocky one. Right, so this is Rock School. Right, so that's strummed. And then you've got things like this. So this is the green key and the yellow key. So you can kind of start off with these. So you've also got, a couple of versions of that. You've got a muted version as well. So if you can imagine building this up on different tracks. Right, so these are, so that is this should be a riff. and this is an ARP. Right, so that's just the start of it. So you've got the Strummed Acoustic, which is not as good, but it's kind of similar, but not as complex, and it kind of works the same way. So this is TV head. So you've got different patterns. Oh, where are we? See, if only I had a light guide. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound quite as good. Let's have a look at this one. What have I got that one for? I don't think I needed to favourite that one. Alright, Britpop. Right. Let's see, I'll keep double clicking that. Well, it's not very loud, is it, compared to that one? Oh, get off. So, and then you've got a kind of muted crescendo. And then you've got the kind of slide, you've got a kind of whatever that is. You've got a single strum and you've got a muted strum. So you can build up. And then, you know, you're straight into so yeah, that is, so we got session horns. This is all session stuff. So the main difference, as I said in the video about Komplete 13, difference in between standard, what I've got, and then the ultimate is the amount of cinematic and orchestral stuff that you get. So with 13, you only get session horns and session strings. Session horns is not something that I'm probably going to use. It's just not my thing. But it's I suppose once you get into it, it's probably okay. So I'm not even going to bother really looking at that. But session strings, on the other hand, is a bit like electric Sunburst. It is fan-bloody-tastic. And it has so much control over what you can do. And the velocity is, because my M32 is possibly the worst keyboard for velocity sensitivity that I've ever tried. So this is why I need to get an Ace series for the improved keyboard and light guide and the screens and everything. But on this is probably the best plugin for velocity that I can use for this keyboard. Right, so I'll ramp this up a bit. It's a bit quiet. So, like I said, there's a fair amount of presets. This is quite unusual. It's kind of so yeah, I want to get a nice, I should go back to ambience. So what you can do is you can switch from velocity switch to rhythm animator. and this is where the fun starts. So you've got different staccatos and steps, and so we're in eighths. So and there goes my keyboard. Right, so if we ramp this up to 16ths, and then change this, and how do I do that? You got smart voice split. So it takes off the split keyboard. So you can randomize these as well. So we'll go switch to this one. And then you can switch on triplets. Right, if I go back to velocity switch, is that what it is? That's where it is. Right, if we go back to the main, so we switch off back to the main one. So you can hear the. So if I change this to pizzicato, so if I lightly, so you see that I'll lightly tap the key, but if I hit it, it'll play the full. So basically you can. So that's what I'm saying, that on a keyboard that's got really good velocity sensitivity, this would be absolutely brilliant. So you've got everything from legato, and then you can obviously change the velocity switch as well. So you've got your main, and then kind of balance it between the two. So if we go to sustain, which it kind of defaults to the same accented. So if we go to staccato, and so you've got all these. You've got tremolo, slide up, slide down, crescendo. Let's try crescendo. I'll go right up. That is quite nice. And portamento. So if we change this to staccato and see what happens, and then balance this back to. So yeah, you can have bloody hours of fun. Right, sustain, and then you've got effects, so you can humanize it. You can, I don't know if so many knobs are working. So that's not, well, that one's not doing anything. So 2's doing that. 3's not doing it. 3, 4's doing the color of it. So you can change all these. You can change that to modulation, studio, whatever. Yeah, so. That is, that's just one preset, and like I said, it is pretty cool. So I think between that, Sunburst is, and you know, that would cost you more than upgrading to the Komplete 13 just for two. Because I think Sunburst is, I don't know, $100 $100. Not sure, but it's not cheap anyway. And so's Session Strings. So I mean, to be honest, I mean, I don't do a lot of stuff that, but I would kind of start trying to get into this and do a bit more kind of classical music. I think if I get a, you need a decent sized keyboard. That's the only problem. These small keyboards are not, because you need the range between the to get the kind of the best out of it. So Studio Drummer is pretty cool. There we go. It's loading quite a lot of samples. Some of these are quite quiet. So yeah, you can thankfully get some grooves going. So we're in session hard rock, and then obviously you can add in so you've got hard rock, so you can change different, so you could go to blues rock for the mixer and then change the grooves. So there is a way of getting them all up. Options, no, grooves, yeah. So you can go into the grooves, so you can see they're all split up into BPMs, and then what you're getting, rides, hi-hats, whatever. So yeah, well, we're in 100 anyway, so that's quite good. So yeah, and then you can change the tempo, swing, all that malarkey, and then you've got your options there. So this is quite cool because you can change the curve. So we're in linear curve. I'll just turn this up, and then you've got a louder velocity curve. So that's quite good. So you can kind of play a bit, and then you can dampen it like it's damping it down, and then go back to. So yeah, I quite like this one. I think it's better than the Abbey Road one, which I've just realised I haven't put in the Abbey Road drums. So like I said, that is, and you've got a mixer as well for each drum part. So yeah, so might do a full review of that one. So yeah, and then vintage organs, which is basically your kind of organ, and the key, so the knobs go through the presets. So this is another one that's a bit on the quiety side, isn't it? Let's bump this up. So you can go through the presets. So that's quite cool. And then I can't remember what the other one's. Yeah, the other one turns the swell on, and the first one turns, not the first one should turn the fast and the slow one. Or you can use the mod wheel, but that should, yeah, you can use the mod wheel to turn the rotator on, which I quite like it on. And I think there's you get a picture of it. Organ, there's the amp. So yeah, a lot of the other knobs. Yeah, so the knobs are kind of controlling some of the amps. You got the drive, tone, amount, and air. So yeah, so hang on. completely random. Let's try and drive it. Where's the air gone? They seem to be back to front, so that should be 8, but it's 7. Because really? Anyway, not to worry. So that is vintage organs, and that is it. So I don't know what happened to. I've missed out Abbey Road drums, so I might do that later.